All right.
You have the heaviest intro of all time.
I love it. Yeah, we just start you mild and easy, and then we go.
That's right.
Welcome to the very first VSF Live. That doesn't quite roll off the tongue. VSF Live. Maybe that's a little better.
Yeah.
Vintage Science Fiction Live. And this is a test episode, and I was able to get my buddy Chris from Liminal Spaces to join me here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So we're just going to have a conversation with you guys, and just chat a little bit about science fiction and things that are going on. And I see that we have some people here already. Some of the people were waiting early. We had Lawrence from Southeast Asia, timely-wimey. I know timey-wimey. I'm not sure about timely-wimey. Don't know if he's with us still. We'll find out later. And we also have here Pulp Mortem. He feels that we're in an alternate timeline. I guess he thinks that an old dog can't learn new tricks.
He had to put up with me learning it also. He's used to it.
And we got Tim from Secret Fire Books is ready. I think he liked the rock intro too, the way he's ready to go here.
Yeah, well, you know, Tim is the metal king.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I saw his video today where he was looking at Elric of Melniboné.
Yeah, we're doing a read-through coming up.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to be joining that. I read book one. I think you did as well, right?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh,
I read the science fiction side of it. What is it? I can't remember the name of it now. With this kind of spy beatnik guy. You keep talking and I'm going to find it.
Okay. Well, you know what? Moorcock has written sort of the same hero in multiple ways.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of confused about all that. The Eternal Champion, I believe it is.
Yeah.
The final program.
Yeah. So, Jerry Cornelius is who this is.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tim. You got it.
Yeah. There he is. Yeah. Oh, and let's see. Jake is here too. Thank you. Stop. We all know that I'm the old guy around here. Oh,
no, you're the messy haired guy, Jake.
I'm probably almost double his age.
I saw your messy hair video.
So yeah, one of the reasons that I want to get this going here is I'm doing something called Rocket Summer, and it's from Michael K. Vaughan. He started it last year and he invited me to join him as a co-host this year. And so I had this bright idea that perhaps next week on Thursday, I wanted to do a live stream and invite the people who are co-hosting to come on with me. And we would just talk about some of the things that we're going to be reading. I would announce the poll winners that I have in the polls on my website or on my channel here.
Are they still going, those polls?
They're still going.
Perfect.
Although I have to confess, I've already read the first book for the first week.
Was it the one I wanted you to read?
It was not. But we won't say what that was.
I voted for the one I wanted you to read.
You know, that poll is the closest of the three right now. But there's enough votes cast that I think that the first place is locked in, and that's the one I read.
Okay.
And anyway, so it's going to be a way of kicking it off. And I'm going to be asking people a question to get them started on the live feed. I want to see what they think is a book that really deserves to be known outside of the genre as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sometimes we have almost a ghetto of authors within the genre. And so I'm very curious to find out who people think should be more widely known. I would say like an Ursula K. Le Guin is more widely known, or a Ray Bradbury.
Somebody in the genre, but that isn't talked about as much.
But isn't talked about by people from outside of the genre, but deserves to be talked about by them.
So Ray Bradbury would be an example of somebody that is absolutely talked about outside the genre.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I thought for anybody who's here, maybe we could leave that in as a question also for the people in the comments here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Levi's able to drop by, but he's going to be busy the rest of the day. Well, stay cool, Levi. I don't think I can be as cool as you, though.
No, the outlaw Levi Wallace is pretty dang cool.
He sure is. So
that's a good question.
I was thinking about it myself, and I just thought of one I would start with. There's a number that I could think of, and I wanna save at least a couple for that live feed they'll have next Thursday.
Yeah.
But the one I thought of is one that I was introduced to in the Ace Science Fiction Special Series 1. He wrote a lot of novels in the '60s and '70s, and in some ways, well, in some ways, he's a minor science fiction author in that not as many people have ever heard of him, but also that he takes just sort of one concept and uses that science fiction concept, but then tweaks into a story. And it's a real character driven story with a lot of tension. This one I thought was a great one. D.G. Compton,
Oh,
Farewell, Earth's Bliss.
yeah.
And it's a dark story. It's a story that comes around on itself. It's a story of convicts. We know that Europe or that England used to send convicts to Australia. Well, they're sending convicts now to Mars. Convicts that have a chance to colonize it, but if they don't survive, that's not a big deal to the people on Earth. And so we see a spaceship land there, and I don't want to go into too many details. I
Sure.
have reviewed it on the channel,
Yeah.
but it doesn't go in directions you expect it to go. And I really thought that the ending really complemented the beginning of the novel as well. And I just think D.G. Compton's a great writer.
I may be able to pull this because I've read a Compton.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be able to find it right off the bat here. I read Synthojoy. There it is.
Yeah.
I read Synthojoy by D.G. Compton and really enjoyed it. And it was not what I expected. It's all told from the point of view of a woman who has undergone like this weird emotion controlling kind of dream machine. And it is a stream of conscious narrative, but I really enjoyed it. And again, like you said, I went through a lot of it on my channel, but I agree. DJ Compton is somebody that isn't talked about a lot, even in the genre.
I agree.
I mean, it's like Bob Shaw would be another one that I would think of.
Yeah.
I think Bob Shaw's been getting a little more attention recently, but I don't think he's talked about as much as he should be in the genre.
And Stephen, the Outlaw Bookseller, has definitely been promoting these too.
Yeah,
He's a good promoter of UK authors, especially.
book
And
pill
so
too.
that's where I probably heard about both of these guys first.
Is DJ Compton the one? DG Compton, is he the one that did the story of the woman that has cameras in her eyes and everybody watches?
The continuous Catherine Mortonhoe.
Book Pill talked about that, and I put it on my reading list for that. I don't have a copy of it, but I'd love to read it.
I've read it, and
Yeah.
it's if you were continuously recording it, really, this was written in the early 1970s, really calls to our social media nowadays of people who are really broadcasting their lives.
Mhm.
Well, what if this person was forced to or was using their life as a channel for people to watch on TV?
Yeah.
And I can't recall a lot about the story right now except that concept. It was something I read very close to the beginning of my YouTube career here too, but it is on my channel somewhere.
I got to find a copy of it. I'm having a hard time finding a copy of it.
Hmm.
I
It's
mean,
also it's also called The Sleeping Eye in the
oh
American
yeah,
editions. Yeah. So let's see what we got here.
with Virgil.
There we go. Yeah. Hey, Virgil. Thank you. It's good to be here. It's good to try to figure this out.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I think you'll find pretty quickly that live is more fun than recording. Just that interaction is so cool. It really is.
So if you see my eyes going back and forth, I'm kind of looking around the screen, just getting familiar with it here.
Yep. I'm trying to think of a because this is a weird one that I'm going to throw out.
Okay.
That's such a good question. Frank Herbert.
Hmm.
Everybody. I mean, he's like the most popular science fiction writer ever, but only for Dune.
That's true.
Like nobody ever goes beyond Dune, and I don't know why. I read Whipping Star, and it was really fun. And I think I read The Universe Makers or the Heaven Makers. Yeah, the Heaven Makers. And this is speaking. This kind of runs the same gambit as what we were just talking about, in that Earth itself is actually a TV show for aliens. So the entire Earth is like the Truman Show for aliens. Great time. But yeah, I read a lot of his other stuff before Dune, and I think he's a really outstanding writer. And all of this is such strong science fiction, and Dune goes such science fantasy that I think that everybody leaves all the other Herbert behind.
I think he has one called Hive as well, doesn't he?
It's not the Hive. I know which one you're talking about. What is it called? Where there's like a bunch of on it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I have them all here, and for some odd reason, I'm not finding that one.
Yeah.
It's not the Green Brain, right?
No.
Okay. Destination Void. No.
He's one author I haven't read yet. Well, I've been avoiding Dune because it's so popularized right now. I try to go places where other people aren't going if I can.
Yeah, me too.
You can't avoid everything, but that one is just way too popular right now. So I haven't gone there, but I'd love to read one of his more obscure books.
This is a good time.
Okay.
And so is Whipping Star. Whipping Star is fun too. If you like linguistics, Whipping Star is like if you remember the story that became Arrival,
Yes.
Ted Chiang.
I've read it.
Yeah. Whipping Star was that before that.
Mm.
It's about how we communicate, and communicating with this aliens changes our brains. It's really interesting. And then this is the world as a TV show for aliens. There's a lot of his that's really good stuff. So I know that's a weird one because, of course, he's talked about all the time. But I mean, even if you just look at the prices things go for, first edition Dune, $3,000. You know what I mean? First edition Heaven Makers, $50. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking about Ray Bradbury a little bit earlier as a guy who is, we're talking about, by the way, for anyone who's new on here, I see we have 25 people on here.
Fantastic.
Pop-up, which is great. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about books that deserve to be known outside of the genre of science fiction. And Ray Bradbury is a guy who's a great example. His short stories are known everywhere and in all kinds of textbooks, even for school.
Yeah.
And you know, I think about Ted Chiang as one of those modern writers who's more comfortable with short stories.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if he has a novel. And I admire that about him because it seems like I don't see as many short stories. I'm really not that familiar with everything that's coming out nowadays, but it seems like it's not as popular, or there's just not as many avenues for it as in the magazines from the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah.
Well, we got some comments here. Maybe I should get into these here.
Somebody told us the name Hellstrom's Hive is the name of the book you're talking about. And I can't find my copy. I'm going to look for that while you go through the comments.
Sure. And Tom tells me, Tom also says that Lee Brackett is an author like that. And I would agree.
Yeah.
Lee Brackett is, I think that the one that I've read that I think crosses over is The Long Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that's a book just like A Canticle for Leibowitz that could be read in school.
Yeah, Tim talks about.
Pardon me?
Tim talks about Lee from Secret Fire Books. Talks about Lee Brackett all the time.
Yeah,
yeah.
And Lawrence has arisen.
All right.
Is Dawn is dawning man in Southeast Asia. Thank you for joining us, Lawrence.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're comfortable telling us where in Southeast Asia, but I'd be curious to know.
Yeah.
And hey, we got somebody now here from the UK. Welcome, Jack from Sci-Fi Finds. He calls us kids. He's the kid.
that is true.
And Tom enjoyed Whipping Star. Strange, but I like the
Probably expansion.
expansion of what counts of life as a person.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, you'll be able to relate to that. I don't know about that one.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
Arcady is the one who identified as Hellstrom's Hive, correct? And Tom did as well.
I can't find my copy of Hellstrom's Hive. I don't know what's going on.
Has Chris ever read any Brian Aldiss? I have a feeling that you like him.
I read AI, which is called The Toys something something summer all year long, whatever. I read that short story. I am holding off until I can find a copy of Barefoot in the Head, which seems like the most Chris place to start with Brian Aldiss. But I just did a book haul today where I got they're up there too high. I got quite a few cool looking Brian Aldiss books. So yeah, I do. I got one called Earthworks with a wild cover. I can't reach it now, but yeah, I do want to try Aldiss. I definitely do.
And I've tried a little bit of Aldiss, and I've actually read his Trillion Year Spree, which is his nonfiction book about science fiction, which is awesome. I really appreciate that book.
You read Barefoot in the Head, didn't you?
And I've read Barefoot in the Head.
Yeah.
That's more Chris than it's me. That one goes into the weird.
And hopefully it doesn't get into pretentious weird. Hopefully it gets in. It has a vision for its weird. You know what I mean?
It does. I think that there's weird that's almost plotless.
Mm-hmm.
This does have a plot. It's a wild road trip in a crazy Europe, and
isn't it like they did warfare, hallucinogenic warfare, so you just get high from hanging out in the atmosphere or whatever?
They bombed people with hallucinogenics, basically. Yeah. And so then it's war-torn Europe again, but this time with hallucinogenics. I mean, if that appeals as weird, I think people will really like it. It was just a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
I was glad I read it, though. It was one of those, again, the A Science Fiction specials that I've read. There was a couple of books that were scheduled to be A Science Fiction specials, but didn't get in because Terry Carr had left. But they were published almost exactly like they were those, without the moniker for A Science Fiction specials across the top. And this one has beautiful Diane and Leo Dillon art, so it matches all those as well. Yeah, it's great. All right, Dune, here we go. Recommended reading age is 14. Okay.
Probably when I first read it. It's right about then.
Yeah, I guess I'm about 50 years too late here.
Yeah, I don't know this one.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you haven't read that yet?
Nope, but it looks like Virgil has.
Yeah. And greeting programs.
Hey, Matthew.
I'm not sure if I know Matthew.
Matthew, I'm sure watches your channel. Yeah. I'm sure he does.
Sorry, Matthew, if I haven't just recognized your comments. And Lawrence is guilty. I apologize. I'm not sure what that earlier is about. Let's see here.
Something Southeast Asia.
Yeah, we were asking. Anyways.
Yeah.
No need to be guilty with us here.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, we got... Oh, let's see if I can show this. There we go. Robin from Bookspin.
What's up, Robin?
I guess we're going just early enough here in North America that it's late over in the UK. And so we have some of our late people there.
I think it's 7 hours difference.
Yeah, from your time, 6 hours from mine. So, we're looking at about 11:19, I guess, in the UK.
You're up late, Robin.
Let's see what else we got. Do you guys listen to music while reading? I'll let you answer that one first.
I listen to music, but it can't have lyrics. It has to be like Godspeed You Black Emperor or, Dungeon Synth or whatever. It has to be something without lyrics.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, it's not a live video unless people are getting up.
So we have people getting up in the morning, and we have also people getting ready for bed. I was just trying to look. When I was last with Chris, he gave me CDs of
I got the record. I'm going to get that. You keep talking.
Okay, sure. The War of the Worlds. from the 1970s, I believe it was, sort of a musical opera. And I still haven't really done anything with that. I want to get to that sometime, but that reminded me when you talked about this, it just reminded me of that for books. The answer for me in terms of listening to music, no. I don't like listening to music. I like it quiet. I like to really focus in on the book. I don't like reading books on there it is.
Such a cool record.
Yeah.
It tells the story, and the art in it is insanely cool. And it's just,
Yeah.
if you've never
Beautiful.
heard Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, it's a good time. It's somewhere between a radio show and a progressive rock experience.
Well, it's beautiful music. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah. I was just concluding that for myself, I need as little distractions as possible in reading. So that's why I don't read on devices. I like to read just the paperback copies of things.
Yeah.
Greeting from Pensacola, Florida.
Pensacola,
Aaron,
Florida. All right. Hello.
Aaron Wilson. Welcome. Northeast Thailand. There we go. It's on near the mighty Mekong. It's raining.
we actually got rain in the desert yesterday and it flooded. Everything flooded everywhere. It's monsoon season for us, which means we'll get like 2 big rainstorms for the year.
Well, and you guys have these washes that go through your cities that are dry all the time, except for when they have these rains, right? And then all of a sudden it's like a flood down them.
Flood, like a river that will kill you if you're standing in the arroyo when the water hits. Yeah. That's what my ex-wife does. She works on arroyos and flood, and she's a civil engineer that maps floodwater and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool job.
Yeah. And so let's see, in Northeast Thailand, and so that's the southern hemisphere. So you guys are into fall, going towards winter, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Although I don't think there's much of a winter in Thailand. Yeah. The best prose that I've encountered so far comes from William Gibson, J.G. Ballard, and Gene Wolfe. You know, I think that Ballard and Gibson are known well across the genre, like outside the genre of science fiction. I don't know. Do you think Wolfe is known?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I really don't. I don't.
Because there's not really any visual representation of his stories, like media.
I mean, it's weird. I had never heard of him before BookTube. It was actually Moyd from Media Death Cult, where I first heard of Gene Wolfe, and I went out and found there's like interviews with him, interviewing with Harlan Ellison and stuff. But I'd never heard of him. I mean, not at all. And like, I mean, all of this is J.G. Ballard, and I know. Hopefully Outlaw Bookseller's not around. I'm gonna get in trouble.
He'll correct us.
Is J.G. Ballard science fiction? I know he did 4 apocalyptic novels to start, but like Concrete Island is freaking badass, magical, not even magical realism. It is straight up like human existentialism on a concrete island in the middle of modern England, you know, high rise, crash, all of that is to me it's speculative, but not really science fiction.
I think it's kind of the route that Christopher Priest took as well.
Yeah.
Starting with lots of science fiction and then starting to branch out into things that you might not think of as science fiction. I have a lot of Christopher Priest I've collected. I haven't read a lot of them yet.
I know you and I each read the same one.
Yeah. Which one?
What was it called? We did it together.
Indoctrinaire, his first one.
Indoctrinaire, yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was a great read. Enjoyed that. Yeah. And I think the next, well, no, I don't think it's
the next one is called
It's a Fugue for the Darkening
Island.
Yeah,
and it's just called Darkening Island here in the States.
Wow. Yeah. Once you get to Inverted World, that one is one of the finest reads I've had since I returned to science fiction and started the channel.
That's where everybody starts.
It's right up there. Yeah.
And Indoctrinaire was killer. I loved that book.
And The Prestige.
Yeah.
Is right up there. And I always keep telling people, you've seen the movie.
Yep.
That's maybe a third of the book. And it's also really changed the way it works out in the end.
And I love that
The
movie.
book has a great bracketing story that actually you touch on in between. That's actually in this time period, not
Yeah.
back in the 18 and 19. Sorry, the 19th or 20th century.
Yeah. Now I've heard the fifth head of Cerberus or Cerberus or however you say that name, three-headed dog. Although in this case, I guess it's a five-headed. But I've heard that that's 3 novellas and is kind of considered loosely not a prequel to the Book of the New Sun, but in the same universe at a different time to the Book of the New Sun. It's one that's on my TBR. Yeah, Gene Wolfe is very interesting, and Virgil and I are going to be talking about the final book in the Book of the New Sun. Well, not the final. He did a 5th little addendum, but the 4th book soon. So we'll be talking about this a lot. But yeah, he is. You have to go along for the ride with him. And that could be why he's not as popular. People that love him swear by him, and I really have been enjoying the Book of the New Sun. But yeah, you have to be willing to just sit back and go, okay, whatever all that was, fine. You know what I mean? And later it'll make sense, hopefully. But yeah, it's interesting because like watching Bookpild's reaction to the first Gene Wolfe book was made sense to me. I liked it more than he did, but he was like, all these riddles with no key to unlock them, to him served no purpose. It just seemed like kind of a oh boy, I hope I'm not putting words in his mouth. It's been a long time since I watched his video, but yeah, he just felt that the riddles didn't necessarily for him have a purpose, and he liked the prose very much. So yeah, Gene Wolfe's an interesting one. I know this is said over and over again, but a lot of people say Gene Wolfe, your first read is on a reread. That's when you really get Gene Wolfe, is when you read it for the second time. Yeah, I don't know. I know you have those. Have you read them?
I have not read them. This is probably where I'm going to first start with Gene Wolfe, which is a collection of short stories.
Nice.
It's still thick.
Yeah.
I think we got to get into the comments here.
I think you're right. There's probably a bunch.
Yeah. Buchdeckel.
You said it. That's perfect.
Yeah. I don't think I've met Buchdeckel, but
I don't think so either. Greetings.
Awesome. Berlin. You must be into the early morning, I think, in Berlin. And Blitzed is fun history about Germans and their meth binges in World War II. Wow.
I don't know what that means, but all right. It sounds like a nonfiction book.
Maybe it fits in with Barefoot in the Head.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olaf Stapledon doesn't get mentioned enough for his influence on the genre. There you go. I just finished Odd John recently, and yeah, I have a friend that I've met. He's a illustrator of the best of SF Masterworks. His name is Auton Purser. I actually interviewed him while he was on a ship in the Antarctica, which was crazy. He loves Last and First Men, and he's actually drawing pictures, I think, for every 2 pages of that book.
Ooh, that's cool.
He kind of encouraged me to read some Stapledon before I got to Last and First Men, and then I want to contact him and sort of do. He's read it many, many times. I'll have to read it, and then we'll chat about the book, and hopefully he'll show us some of his illustrations.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember starting that video, and I was like cleaning or something, and I slowly moved towards the couch, and then within 5 minutes, my butt was on the couch, and I was 100% paying attention. That guy was cool.
And he was so excited about stuff, and he would always hold up his laptop to the window and just show you the ice outside. And he filmed animals on the bottom of the ocean. Wow. That was his job, his research job.
Also, his art is incredible. He drew a picture, the one I can remember the most, that I would love to use as a thumbnail for the channel. That is pieces of a skull, and each section is behind a different season. It's an incredible picture. Yeah. If
you look him up, he has his own website. That's actually where I was able to get a contact with him. His name is AUTUN,
Yeah.
Purser, Purser. So anybody who wants to look that up, you'll find his website and his art.
Cool guy. And go check out that video Richard did. It's incredible.
Hey, Brian, I don't know if you noticed over my shoulder here. He sent me a postcard and I just received it today. Brian from Ontario, Brian Rumble.
Richard Rempel and Brian Rumble.
There you go. If I remember right, I think I first saw him on Instagram, and I think he's a black belt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We make fun of Brian Rumble.
Nope. He's got my back.
He spelled Brian just like Brian from Bad Taste Books.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, Brian and Haley were names that I saw spelled so many different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. This is about music.
Huh?
Jake's the same.
Jake's like me. No lyrics, or no, actually like you. Music,
Yeah.
but no lyrics. I'm guilty of only reading Dune by the Man and No More.
Yeah.
I read too many of them, 3 of them, and then stopped.
I think that's why. I think that's what happens. Everybody's like, oh, I got to start with Dune. And then they just Frank Herbert themselves out.
Yeah. You know, you can become overexposed with some of these type of series.
Yeah.
And then people are turned off and they don't experience some of the other work.
Right. Yeah.
Here we go. Listening to Dungeon Synth while reading or writing is literally my favorite thing to do.
Yes,
from
nice,
Secret
Tim.
Fire books.
Yeah,
I don't know Dungeon Synth, but I would imagine that they're heavy metal.
No.
No?
Dungeon synth is a genre of music that to me sounds like 70s sci-fi not keyboard synthesizer music.
Oh, synth.
Yeah.
So heavy synthesized music.
Yeah, and it's really cool. It's really cool. It's really for me it just makes me think of being out in space. It's perfect for sci-fi.
So is the dungeon that's referred to by that, is it from the Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes. Yeah, it's music that people make on synthesizers to, if I understand correctly, to play while they are playing D&D for background music.
Sounds like that could be epic as well, type of music.
It's good. Yeah, you could look up Dungeon Synth on YouTube and there's hours and hours and hours of it.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a good background then.
Yeah.
Bufdekel says Jeff Wayne's musical version of the War of the Worlds. Richard Burton. Oh, yes, he's the narrator.
He's the narrator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big time star from those days.
Love it.
Great voice.
Yeah.
Ian Gore is with us. Recently read.
Ian, did you do that because of me? Yeah, you did.
Uncomfortable Enemy by W.C. Morrow on Chris's recommendation. Read it to my young son on holiday, chilling bedtime story.
How young?
Is that a bedtime story for a young son?
No, that is probably one of the most messed up weird tales I've read thus far. It was, it hurt my feelings. It was so messed up. It's a great story, but oh my God, it's like early body horror. It's like Weird Tales body horror. Like there's like evil amputation going on in that story. Yeah, that was I hope your son's okay, Ian.
Yeah, I hope he was asleep by the time you're reading that.
That's right.
War of the Worlds. My uncle lived near the Commons where the Martians landed. The indentation is still there.
That's fantastic. I remember somebody's video. I can't remember if it was Moyd or if it was Outlaw Bookseller. It might have been Moyd. Showed a video of an area in England where they built this huge statue of one of the Martian tripods. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. I guess there's also John Christopher's tripods as well as is known for those tripods.
Oh, yeah. Well. I every time I see John Christopher, I grab it because of your video. I'm gonna have to try out some of his stuff sometime.
Yeah. I think in the United States it's called No Blade of Grass, but it's The Death of Grass.
Oh, is that John Christopher as well?
Yeah, they're the same book.
I want to read that one.
It's a darker John Wyndham, and I love it. Yeah.
I've wanted that one because it's post-apocalyptic.
Yes, definitely. Well, it's basically the bombs are dropping and people are fleeing London, and it's a matter of, can they get to a place where his brother has a farm, and can they prevent other people from getting into this farm?
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. That sounds fantastic. Oh, here. This is what I wanted you to see. Is this the same guy? I think it is.
It is. Yep.
Yeah, some kind of fantasy
Yes. Yeah.
trilogy. Yeah, this is the only one that I can find of him so far, is this little box set.
He found success with YA,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's kind of like Ursula K. Le Guin did with Earthsea series
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
That in the 60s, some of these authors turned to YA. I guess Robert Heinlein did it in the 50s with his young adult series as well.
Yeah. Great
Which
art.
I think in some ways I prefer his young adult material.
Yeah, the tripod sounded great.
Yeah,
It sounded like Red Dawn versus the Martians. You know what I mean?
pretty much. Yeah, I read them. Yeah. What my ex-wife does, kill people.
No,
That's
no,
another novel.
she does not.
Vonnegut too moved from great science fiction
Yes.
to whimsy, except his last book, Galapagos, is a brilliant return to form.
Yeah, that's
Definitely transcended
good
this
point.
genre. Yeah. And
It
Virgil,
does.
he has a great following,
Yeah.
but I don't think it really reaches outside of fantasy and science fiction. I might be wrong. You can correct me.
For me, I don't think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Steph, hi, everyone. Good to see you. He's
Yeah.
definitely a viewer of both of our channels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Went into Cerebus with Sir, is it Sir Burris?
Cerberus, I believe, is
Yeah, with a laser focus, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences I had so far. The keys are there. Okay, so you can find them at least in this. I
At
think
least
you're
in
right
this
that it's 3 novellas.
Yeah.
The wolf fandom sometimes does more harm than good, but I do love wolf.
They can get a little ravenous.
Yeah.
They can get a little ravenous.
Great short stories. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm looking forward to those. Thank you for joining us, Patrick.
That's awesome.
So that's not his name. Well, I guess it could be. He could be called Book Cover.
Yeah. He's
Well,
covering
thank you for
books. I
joining
wonder,
us.
is he got a channel? That's cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, seriously.
Maybe if he's still awake, he can let us know.
That's right.
Boy, you know what? They're lining up here. We got 34 people here.
Zephyros.
Hi, Zephyros.
I think Zephyros is in Scotland.
Yeah, good evening. So he's heading towards midnight. Clark is a huge Stapleton fan. And you know what? You can see that. I think some of the expansive ideas that Clark shows kind of reflect a little bit of Stapleton in what he did.
It's starting to rain here, and it could get very loud. If it does, I'll mute.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes down, it comes down. It's Bart.
Hey. You know what? When I did go down to visit Chris, I missed Bart because he wasn't in Colorado at the time. But I hope to correct that in the future.
Yeah, one of these times I go up there so often. One of these times we got to meet up.
Yeah,
that would be super fun.
And I love going to Bart. I use him as my guy to go to when I talk about Lem because of the Polish connection there. Yeah. Lem is another one who has crossed over into literary areas as well.
But only with Solaris, I feel like.
Yeah, not his other work?
Well,
yeah, I don't
feel like his other work's worth it, but anytime anybody brings up Lem that is not like aficionados like we are, they're going to bring up Solaris. That's the book they're going to talk about.
Now, I haven't said this publicly, so I'm going to do it right now. It's not finalized yet, but I'm going to read Solaris this summer, and I've lined up Doc Peterson, who we read all the R.A. Lafferty.
Daniel Otto Jack Peterson.
Daniel Otto Jack Peterson to read Solaris.
That's
not
great.
A Lafferty book, but a Lem book. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing if this is going to work out. Hopefully we'll get it out sometime in August or September.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm being really picky about this. And maybe Bart can say something to this. If I get too loud, if you can hear the rain, let me know. I don't want to read this translation. This is a translation from the French to English. So it's like telephone. It's 2 lines down. And there has been a translation recently, but Curtis did research on it. And apparently, for some reason, they can't publish it physically, but you can listen to it on Audible. And that is the translation that the I don't know if it's the family of Lem or whoever, but that's the one that they recommend. So this is complicated. I'd listen to it on Audible if you want the more true to the book translation.
And I think that there's some sort of a digital form as well. Another viewer of mine actually lives in Winnipeg here. His name is Burl. Told me that as well, and just said, hey, you might want to seek out this translation, so even to compare it.
Yeah.
So I've got some work to do on that one still.
Yeah.
That translation issue is very interesting because Lem has had his work translated for, let's see, The Invincible, or Invincible was translated into German and then into English. And then there's that one. Yes. That one right there, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then there's a later version now that's directly from the Polish.
Yeah, we see that happen, especially back with fairy tales. You'll see like Arabian Nights, the Galund, and I'm not saying that right, a French translation was the first one that was done. And then all the English translations for like 30 years were all just translating it from the French. It is weird to see modern books. And I don't know if it has something to do with the politics of the country at the time or what. I know that the Strugatsky brothers, Roadside Picnic, which is up there. I'm not going to be able to grab it now, but Roadside Picnic, I had to stop. I started reading an older version of it, and then I read a little bit about it, did a little research on it, and it was censored. The version that you can get in the really old cool paperback of Roadside Picnic, I better grab it, is censored, and I had to go buy a newer one in order to read the new translation that wasn't censored. Like, this is the cooler looking book, but this translation has sections left out because of government censorship. It's really interesting. It really is. I'll bet you we've now got a lot of comments on that.
And I saw your book haul today, and you got Hard to Be a God, which is from the Daw editions, which was beautiful.
Yeah, I got two.
But I think you got a newer edition as well. Is it because of translation?
Yes. Yeah. That is a different translation. I picked up the newer one for translation because I want to read the most direct. And it's funny because like there's a Murakami novel that I talked about the translations a lot, Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World. And I actually prefer the slightly earlier one. I feel like that one's better, but I have a tendency to go, if there's a really modern translation, you're probably going to get the more direct translation.
Yeah. I feel a draw more to the modern one as well. It just feels like there's a little bit more scholarship over the years has gone into it, perhaps. Right. Yeah. Here, we should get going here. Another Brian. We had talked about that.
With a Y.
Yeah. Against the Fall of Night was greatly influenced by Stapleton. I read that one. And that is the basis for another one of his novels where he basically expanded Against the Fall of the Night. I think the Against the Fall was only like 110 pages, and I'm struggling to remember what the name is of the more extended one. Perhaps Vilstedt.
This is Clark we're talking about, right?
That's right, Arthur C. Clarke.
What was the name of the expand? I don't have Against the Fall of the Night.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was written first, and then the other one.
Virgil agrees with you, Matthew G.
Yeah. Brian! Hey, there is the Brian.
That's right. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. Jeff Wayne album is great.
Forever
Autumn.
Yeah.
Brian third or
Brian
squared.
Cubed, is that right?
Cubed, not squared. Didn't get my math right there. Hey, Captain Samuel Sigils.
What's up?
He's going to mix and pour some coffee. While we were alive. Do I know how to mix and pour coffee? I've done it.
I wouldn't
leave it out there if you've already mixed it.
Right. That's right. Don't leave it in the rain.
But I'm not the person who was in charge of it. Jack recorded a review of Death of Grass.
I've watched
it back with Sherry S. Tepper's Grass. You know what? I read that when it first came out. What is it? 30 years ago, maybe. Grass themed double feature in a few weeks. I'd like to reread Grass. Sherry Tepper was somebody that I was really impressed with back in the day, and I really can't remember a lot of her story now. But that was the one I read.
Coming up, or one that he already did?
He says it's a few weeks. In a few weeks.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
It's good to see he's ahead of the schedule. Way to go!
Didn't this is Jack, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Jack make or now maybe I'm thinking of Robin. I don't know.
Oh,
But there
could be.
was somebody did a post-apocalyptic where they did like 3 post-apocalyptic books.
Why? Yeah, Robin did a great series on that
I
recently.
think I'm thinking of Robin. I'm looking forward to that as well, Jack.
Yeah. Jeff Wayne's version, Phil Lynette is singing.
Yes.
He was the singer of Thin Lizzy. The
I
boy.
can't remember what character he plays, if he's the priest or who he is, but yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear that rain at all?
Nope, we're
Okay,
good.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
Charlottesville,
All right.
Virginia. Welcome,
Mid-century.
mid-century paperbacks. That sounds like that's a bookstore.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
a channel connected to that or what.
Sounds like a place I need to visit. I love going to used bookstores.
Yeah.
Martian Monument is in Woking, Surrey, near
Okay.
to the Commons where the Martians landed. I used to visit family as a child, and the Martian landing site on the Common melted my brain.
It would have mine too. That's incredible.
Yeah. I don't think this is anywhere near, but somewhere in New York, I'm a big fan of the Twilight Zone. And somewhere in New York, there's a park that has a statue now to Rod Serling. And they have Serling Fest in the summers there, I believe.
Awesome.
Someday I'd like to go to that.
Yeah, well, we'll make a plan. We'll get all the booktubers there. Well, if that's a book called Castle of Days, full of commentary on the new. Oh, hold on. It's called if this is what I'm thinking of, let me see.
Sure.
If I can get this.
And each major character from New Sun tells you a joke.
It's actually called Castle of the Otter, which is a joke around the fact that people miscalled the fourth book, which is called The Castle of the Autarch or something.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my rarer books. And this is truly just essays that Gene Wolfe wrote about Book of the New Sun. Yeah, commentary is a perfect way to put it. Yeah, it's really, and I do plan on reading these when I'm done with the Autarch, the fourth one. Yeah, that's a cool mention. I had never heard of it, and then I got it. I found it at the when you went with me to the Friends of the Library, and I said there was Gene Wolfe books I was looking for. This was part of that big haul we looked through.
Right. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm actually thinking about having a month perhaps where I'm going to go nonfiction, look at biographies or commentaries.
Have you found that James Tiptree yet?
I used Air Miles to get some bucks on Amazon.
Okay. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, this is something I would love to read. Oh, that's incredible. Nicely
there
done.
It is, Julie Phillips, and it's a big book. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I'd never seen that.
It was just time to give the publisher and the author some money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Buke Deckle does have a channel.
Oh, sweet.
So there, we can look that up afterwards.
Yep, I'll check it out.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to make a note of that as we go to the next comment. Here,
yeah,
you can
also,
read the next one.
Let's do mid-century. What do they call it? Paperbacks? Mid-century paperbacks? That sounds good too.
You can watch us writing notes here.
It's fun being live on somebody else's channel because I'm seeing people comment that I've never seen on my channel, which is fun.
Yeah,
meeting new people.
Oh man, we're up to 42 people here.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
that's incredible. That's I think my highest.
Dad likes books.
Yeah, Dad like book.
He's a great new channel as well.
Yeah,
he's been reading a lot of books. I'm not sure if you had a stockpile of them, but boy,
I got to put that on because I don't think I've subscribed yet.
Philip K. Dick, I think, is the last one he did.
All right, I got to subscribe to that as well.
Yeah,
Dad
he had a buddy that drew his icon as well, or his
great title, great icon or whatever you'd call it. Yeah, Avatar.
That's I think what it should be called.
Yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing Daniel and Richard.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Bill Johnson translation from 2011 would be the preferred one, and you read it in Polish.
Well, translate it for us, Bart. Read it to us. We'll do an hour a night and just translate it to English as you go.
Captain Finity, the Time Police is here. Right. Greetings.
Oh,
is he the guy that you messed up his name a few times?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
You recognize his avatar?
I don't.
It's a British series.
It looks British.
Yeah.
What's the series?
Avengers.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that the one? I think
With
Boy
Mrs.
did a
Peel, I think,
video
was
about
his
it.
sidekick.
No.
Pardon me?
I'm thinking of The Prisoner. Sorry.
Which is a great series. Patrick McGowan, I think, was the
Yeah.
star. Yeah. There's a video game adaptation. Yes.
I have played it.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think in the end, I put it down and just thought I'd read the book because it felt so scripted
Mhm.
in its telling of the book that literally all I did was like walk over here. And then it told the story to me, and then I had to walk over there, and then it told the story to me. My brother and I were very excited about it, and we petered out on it pretty quick because of just how forced linear it is. And it's interesting because for a younger generation, that might be the way storytelling goes. Like and this could be an interesting. Perhaps all these old science fiction books will eventually have video games, and that's how people will experience these stories. Who knows? So I'm not against it, but yeah, just to me, I was like, I should just read the book.
I never played it, but some of the visuals were great, and I think I used some of them in my video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that it didn't go to the same places necessarily as the book.
Right.
But I think it was a pretty good adaptation, but it definitely had some changes, I guess, for gameplay, etc.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's sort of in reverse there.
Yeah. Yeah. How
This is
interesting.
the early stuff.
Yeah.
And
That
here's
makes sense.
Infinity. Perfect timing. Roadside Picnic is on my wish list. I definitely would prefer the uncensored
So you
one.
have to get the 2011, I believe it is.
Yeah.
I don't have a copy of it to pull out.
1948 book.
Dang it. I don't know what that's in reference to.
No, I'm not sure either, Casper. I know that someone told me that 1984 is the reversal of 1948 because that's when he wrote it, although it was published in 1949. Those are sort of some trivia that I know.
That's super interesting. I did not know that.
Steph, thank you. The City in the Stars is the longer version of Against the Fall of Night.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I don't have that either.
Lem's The Invincible is awesome. Maybe his best. You know, I actually enjoyed it more. I read Fiasco as well recently, and I enjoyed it more than Fiasco.
Fiasco is kind of a niche Lem book, isn't it?
It's kind of like he takes some of the themes that he uses in his other books and combines them, but it combines them in an interesting way where it's almost like he has sort of rabbit trails or side stories. And the ending, there is an ending, but it may not be as satisfying as it could be for some. And it's the last science fiction book that he wrote. He wrote some other things afterwards, but he is actually the first science fiction book he also wrote under contract with a German publisher because at the time he was trying to escape Poland and he needed finances.
Oh.
And so there's a lot of interesting backstory to it. I think it's 1986 for Fiasco.
Huh.
Listen to Beyond Paulo by Malzberg after BookTube recommendation, and it is immense too.
Yeah, Bookpilled has been pushing Malzberg really hard.
I read the second, I think, in that Apollo series called Beyond the Falling Astronauts. That's what it was. It's definitely a different style of science fiction. There's a psychology and a grimness to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a stack of it over here and I don't know where to begin.
Yeah. Thanks, fellas. Captain Samuel has a channel as well.
Yeah, it's good.
And Stars, we got that. City in the Stars was quite good. Yes. Maybe that's what he was referring to. 1948 might have been the Against the Fall of Night and then the City of the Stars.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Stand on Zanzibar would be a good book for a modern audience outside of science fiction. Yeah.
That book scares me. Just its sheer size. Yeah, I
read his book they wrote right after called Jagged Orbit, and it has the same style of writing. And I think I'm ready for Stand on Zanzibar. But yeah, it's a style of writing where you have different pieces of media or communication stitched together with a plot. And so it gives you the feel of the world and then the plot line going along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a big tome.
Right. Yeah.
And he's starting to read it. There you
Oh,
go.
nice.
All right. I hope you enjoy it. It's a dizzying at first.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that's the dizzying, I think, from
Oh,
the different medias.
I'm
He's getting
sure.
late. Reading
Oh,
Nova. He's another transcendent SF, I suppose. I would think so.
has there been any weird sex scenes in it yet?
He's off to bed, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read 2 Delaney's and they've been wonderful, but apparently he can get weird.
Casper agrees that
Oh,
Nova is excellent.
good. I'm glad.
And Chris is wondering getting books.
Yep.
Yeah, I stood up and got some too. He liked Nova.
Oh, good. Okay. Nova might be a
Enjoy it,
good
Jack.
next place to go then.
It does take some getting used to, but I think it's an interesting look into what societal obsessions of that time were.
Stand on Zanzibar.
Yeah, I think maybe he's still talking about Nova.
Are you
but
sure? I think
I
he's
don't know.
talking about Stand
Maybe
on
he's
Zanzibar.
right. Yeah, maybe you're
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I know that Stand on Zanzibar has ads
Yes, it
throughout
does.
it. Like he wrote them in.
I really am big on context. I love to know what the history is of what's
Yeah.
going on at that time, or even the writing styles. I'm reading a very old book in the 30s, and it's got that kind of feel of old 30s movies and sort of the smart kind of comments that people made back and forth and the banter that men and women had. And it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting. And I think you always have to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Guys, my channel is in German. Uh-oh.
Apparently Google is translating. I just got a notice on my YouTube today or a couple days ago that they will now be translating my channel into other languages.
Yeah, so I think that we get the subtitles, so we'll have to see if we can do that.
Yeah.
Deco.
Yeah.
Thanks for the kind word, guys. Much appreciated. Sure. There
Ooh,
we go. 1984, one of the
Yeah.
majors.
Yeah.
That's the one that you made him read?
No, that's what my shirt says.
Oh,
It says, haha, made you read.
look at that. I was so blind and looking around here that I didn't even know it was your shirt today.
When somebody's running these live videos, just so people that have never done it know, all you can see is the tiniest little screen. Emma Peel. Okay, I don't know.
That's from the Avengers. That was the symbol that one person had that I'd ask you if you knew who that was. This is his sidekick, Emma Peel.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Yeah. And so we're starting to catch up here. Something Steed was his name. I do also love The Prisoner. Great show. I don't do very many media things, but I think I'd like to do something about The Prisoner someday.
Virgil always drops the strangest, like, where does he get this information? It's awesome. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that's an interesting mix because
Tell me how that works.
Okay,
I don't get it.
So Picnic at Hanging Rock is an Australian book that is about a place, the specific rock that is somehow supernaturally, it might be supernatural. It's a zone, but it's not connected to aliens in any way. It's just this, and there's a Peter Weir film about it that's really, really awesome that I grew up with. I watched it over and over again. So I can see the concept of these two mixing together, just because, of course, Roadside Picnic is about a zone that is made by aliens, and Picnic at Hanging Rock is about a spiritual, supernatural zone. And
you might say a liminal space.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and the pun, of course, is really good. Those two work well together. I happen to have this because we're planning a video coming up talking about movies. But yeah, this film I grew up with and I absolutely loved it. And I'm just going to plug here really quick. Deb and I are going to be reading Deb from Omnivorous Reader. We're going to be reading Picnic at Hanging Rock, the book, together at the beginning of October.
And she's from Australia, so
right, yeah, for spooky season. So look forward to that.
He's currently writing a chapter
Oh yeah, he's writing a book. I can't. Well, he's writing a screenplay book,
Okay.
opera,
I'm just
newspaper.
going he by the picture. I don't know. It could be
Yeah,
a
no,
woman as well. Good night, Jack. We all say good night. Do
that's right.
you remember watching Walton's Good Night, John Boy?
Yes,
Yeah.
my grandparents watched that constantly.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
Good
too
night,
old
John
here.
Boy.
Dragon not
Dagon,
Dragon,
Dagon.
Dagon Studios. Hi.
Great name, great
Do you know
picture.
who that avatar is?
Yeah, I don't know what it's not H.P. Lovecraft. I
I
don't know
don't know who
what
that
it is.
is.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope you have a channel.
He says
Bob
Bob
Shaw.
Shotwell. There we
Great,
go. Yep,
great
we definitely
answer.
talked about Bob.
Yep.
Definitely, he could be definitely into that popular realm where his stories, the ideas and the action, like I could see his books being movies.
Anybody that likes spy fiction that gets super, super, super weird are gonna like Bob Shaw.
Mhm.
Really, truly.
Auf Deutsch. Man, we got a couple of German people here.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and Bob Shaw is great from Sephiroth.
Sephiroth. Yep.
Sephiroth.
That's how I say it.
Okay.
Sephiroth is a musician.
Nova is probably his most accessible book. Really good place to start with Delaney.
awesome.
Thank you for the advice, because
Yeah, that's
I've
where
been
I'm gonna
kind of a little afraid of going into Delaney.
I read Empire Star and Babel 17 and enjoyed them thoroughly, and they are very clean and wonderful, weird books. And it sounds like this is where I'm going to head next.
I have Babel 17 and I have Noah, so I'll probably be reading those two eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, he's reading, and that's from Neil Stevenson.
Oh, okay.
Whoops.
Neil Steven did Snow Crash.
He did Seven Eves, Snow Crash. Yes, I just
Okay.
actually finished reading Snow Crash. Whoops, there we go. I haven't read Anathem yet, but I've been kind of saving that one because I hear it's one of his best, along with Seven Eves. Because I really enjoy. This is one of those rare writers where I enjoy his long books, because he writes books that are 750 to 1,000 pages long.
It's funny because that never bothered me when I was just a reader. But the minute I started making content, I was like, oh, can I give up that much of my reading time?
All right. Have you heard this album?
No, but I've heard a lot. So I missed Jim at News from the Gelding does these incredible radio shows, and they always end with a Sephiroth track.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, and they're wonderful. And I don't know if maybe Jake bought his album, but no, the Sephiroth that I've heard at the end of those streams is absolutely incredible. It really is.
News from the Gelding, when he does that introduction where he's firing stuff from his hands and everywhere.
Yeah, he's using his
one of the craziest, great intros ever. Prisoner is the best. There we go. Chris, was Hardboiled Wonderland and the End of the World of Murakami the Murakami you recommend?
Yes, it is my favorite book of all time.
Okay.
It really is.
Whoops, let's go back here.
There's certain aspects that haven't aged well, but this is the first book that I ever read that made me realize how far people can go with writing, how weird it can get, but how wonderful it can be. Yeah, this is I champion this book as often as I can. Yeah.
I volunteer at something called the Children's Hospital Book Market, and we sort books that have been donated. And whenever I come across a Murakami, there's a bit of an argument about whether it should go into our modern classics area or if it should go into science fiction. I've not read him yet, but I'm looking forward to reading him someday.
Yeah, this is where I would start. It's real if for science fiction readers, absolutely. Okay. And a lot of people, I'll make this quick. A lot of people get into IQ-84, which is another book by his that people always like that.
Yeah.
That's the sci-fi book. And that, in my opinion, is incorrect. It's not the best place to start. Number one, it's his thickest. Number two, his weird sex bullshit is on very open style in that one. This one does have some 80s stuff that didn't age well, but I think this is a better organized and really a much more fun read and more science fiction than IQ-84.
Dagon would be in the prisoner show. Okay.
Into. He'd be
Into.
into
Oh,
the
not in. I was thinking about inside one of those bubbles that
yeah.
floated along.
Roadside Picnic at Hanging Rock is fabulous.
It is his own. Clever. There, Walter's in here.
Stalker is great. Yep.
I haven't read Roadside Picnic yet.
Yeah,
But
Roadside
Stalker's
Picnic.
the movie, right?
My video, they have what I heard Virgil call them this, and I think he got it from somewhere else. Evergreen videos that are continuously watched, and Roadside Picnic and Stalker. The videos I did on those two are two of my best.
You know, for the people who have channels here, that's one of the things I really chose to do, is to try to create an evergreen video. Is a video that is not dated. So you haven't said that this is happening on June, whatever today is, June 24th, Wednesday, live feed. You would just say that it's about books that really should transcend the genre, and people who would search for it would find that. I do that with my reviews, etc. They're ones that people can still search up and find.
Yeah.
Recently, a lot of my shorts have been found, especially for Foundation, since the series is coming back on again. And for whatever reason, the day of the Triffids, my short is getting a ton of hits. And for myself, those shorts actually can lead into views. I attach the longer review as a link to them.
Yep.
And I see those popping up now too. So yeah, my old videos, people are finding them when they do searches.
Yeah, YouTube is pushing shorts right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. I'm going to start a separate shorts channel. Just going over the old books, the antiquarian books in my library. I've got a little camera that looks over a table, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Emma Peel was in Game of Thrones. See, I have not seen Game of Thrones, but yes. So she would have been quite a bit older in that one.
Yeah.
Is that something you've watched, Game of Thrones?
I watched up to the 5th season, and then I quit because the torture was so disgusting. I couldn't handle it anymore.
Okay.
Because I'm a baby. I can't handle like visual torture. I can't. It was too much.
Hey, thanks. What album was it? Okay, they're talking about Sephiroth's album.
And you can see that he specifically responded at the beginning to Pulp Mortem.
Yep.
That's what I was talking about.
That's right. So I've got to watch for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were spot on for identifying that. And it is the album Dither.
All right. Virgil's random tidbit was how I found out Titan Books was putting a Sailor Steve Costigan story in the next issue of Savage Sword of Conan. Thanks, Virgil. I'm telling you, he's got a mind like a steel trap. Everything's in there, man. Yeah, I love Hanging Rock.
Hey, Jeff has joined us. Jeff, we got Japan, right?
Yeah, Osaka.
Yeah.
I want to get Jeff on literally Liminal, but we got to figure out the time difference. Mid Journey. Why do I know that word? Mid Journey. That's a thing. I think my daughter talks about Mid Journey. What's Mid Journey? Is it a game? That means something, but I don't know what. I've never seen Last Wave.
No, I haven't seen either of those. Peter Weir is the only thing I can remember is wasn't he RoboCop?
No, that's the same guy that did Total Recall, did RoboCop.
No, I meant as the actor.
Oh, no. There's two Peter Weirs. This is super confusing. One's a director, one's an actor.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Hey, another person who loves Bob Shaw.
Yeah.
Here we go. Vancouver, Canada. Hey, if you don't know, I'm from Winnipeg.
You're getting some international viewers here.
We are. And of course, Tim, that's referring to somebody in the comments of what they're saying, or the thanks, I think. Oh, that Slow Glass Story.
What's it
so
called?
Beautiful. It's one of my favorite short stories.
Other Days, Other Eyes. Is it in that one?
It's incorporated into that one. That one's a fix-up novel that sort of incorporates some of his short stories. But the Slow Glass Story,
I don't know how this happened.
I can't remember what the name of the actual short story was.
This thing is like dumb expensive on eBay now.
Yeah.
Like something happened. I don't know if it was you guys talking about it or what. But all of his other books are still just like, $1.99 science fiction books. But this one is like $80.
Still waiting for him to be really reprinted. There was some Golanx versions of his stories, or even an omnibus, but We need more of his stories out there. Hey, Vilstef met Shaw in the 80s.
That's cool.
I understand he was quite funny at the
Is he
conventions that
still
he would
alive?
often give speeches. Pardon me?
Is Bob Shaw still alive?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well,
There was
that's cool.
just a brief snippet of a convention that I saw his speech, and yeah, he was a good public speaker.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Ah,
Yeah, we know some Bob Shaw.
we
I've only read one of his, and it's the Frazetta cover, and it was his first one, and I really enjoyed it.
Yes, that's a great escape story.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's about somebody that's blinded. It was really enjoyable.
And can
Is there
see
a
through
link?
other animals and other people's
Yeah,
eyes.
he's a hacker. He's an eyeball hacker.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's a lot of visual elements to Bob Shaw's stories, at least in the first decade or so of his work.
Yeah, definitely. And if you like spy novels, this is incredible. It's deep. It's got new wave science fiction elements with spy stuff. Before Sephiros, you'll have to. I don't know if you can link in the live chat. I don't know.
You might have to send you or I an email, and we can do that, or I can put it into the description for this video, Sephiros, if you email me.
Yeah, you'll have to check back. Do you have a white whale book that you would like to acquire one day but may never?
Let me think on that. I used to think it was Neuromancer, but I actually did get it. And I know it's not a huge white whale, but the first science fiction author that I really was captivated with in my teens and early 20s was John Wyndham. So I think if I got a first edition of The Day of the Triffids, I think that might be kind of a white whale for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of science. So I collect antiquarian, specifically fairy tale books. So very early Grimm's and into the French and all that. But science fiction, I don't know. I'd love to get a first edition of Alice in Wonderland, which was possible at one point, but now really isn't anymore. It's just too expensive. But yeah, that was one that I really was trying to get, constantly selling antiquarian books, buying and selling, and I just could never get to it. So that'd be my white whale in terms of that bit of my collecting.
If you haven't seen Chris's book haul, he managed to find a hard copy, a paper or a hardback or hardcover copy of Star of the Unborn.
Yeah, I did.
There's only one edition, I believe, of hardcover and one edition of paperback, and you have both.
Yes, I do, but I put the paperback on eBay. That was the decision that I made.
Okay.
I'm selling. I'm sticking with the first.
I gave mine away because I actually didn't finish it. I read probably about 2/3 of it, and I had enough. And everybody's experience can differ. I know that other people here on BookTube love it, and that's great, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. It's on my list.
Actually, I found the background story of the author far more fascinating than the story itself.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Franz Werfel.
I think that's a book pilled. He's the one that discovered that.
Yes, that's right.
I agree. Magical realism. And it's funny because I always have to look in science fiction here in the States when I go into a bookstore, especially used. I always have to look at science fiction, but I've always known him as a magical realism writer.
He doesn't think it's quite fitting for Halloween, though.
No. So
this is the first comment from Deep in the Reads. Welcome.
Yeah, Curtis. I said something earlier that I was going to connect to Curtis, and I don't remember what it was. But anyway, Curtis, that's interesting. I've always considered Picnic at Hanging Rock a horror movie, in the same way, and I haven't read the novel yet, so I don't know. But Shirley Jackson's Haunting of Hill House, I consider absolutely an incredible horror book. The horror is in the atmosphere, not as much in the events. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe Picnic at Hanging Rock doesn't have that Shirley Jackson appeal, but we'll see. Yeah.
I like the Flannery version on Netflix. I haven't read the book, but I
Oh,
enjoyed that
the
series.
TV series they did recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I watched that too. I just loved that movie when I was a kid. I really did, and that was so creepy. And I didn't know, like, and of course, I'm going to talk about this with Deb. But yeah, there's a chapter that the editor took out of the book that explained everything, and the editor was like, "Don't explain it," and that's why it has been so loved for so long, is because you don't know if they were kidnapped or if it was supernatural. Yeah, we'll see.
I'm a fan of ambiguity because it gives you conversation points, right?
Yeah.
And there might be clues enough that you say that really this is where you should end up on the side of, but
Right.
ambiguity can really work in an author's favor most often.
Yeah, Murakami's big on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't say
Valis.
Dick.
Yeah, Valis. I think I have.
I haven't read it. Yeah.
I have the Valis trilogy.
That's right.
It's in hardback.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. That I'm saving it. I'm gonna wait. That's gonna be my last. I'm not going to. I'm gonna read this other stuff first because I've heard Valis is a really good time and a really wild, strange read.
Walter says thank you for something that we talked about. And I'm sorry, Wallace or Walter, if I don't remember what that was. This was a great
Gratat surprise.
I think it was a great surprise.
Yeah, he must have just hit caps lock in the middle there, or he's making a pun that we're not getting.
Guess who's made it?
Oh, what's up, Constance?
Hello, Constance.
You don't have to apologize for being late. This was like off the cuff, man.
Exactly. Hey, Chris, can you help me out? I got to get some experience here with live.
That's right.
Valis is so great.
Oh, Virgil knows. Valis. Okay.
Lem wrote some fun stuff. He has a range. There's some very serious to very comical things.
Yeah, I've only read one, and it was at first comical, and then some of the best hallucinatory science fiction I ever read, and that was, what's it called? The Futurological Congress, which I absolutely loved. Yeah, what a weird. This feels like fix-up novel, even though it wasn't. It feels like two stories slammed together. The first half you're giggling at the silliness, and the second half you're like, oh my god, it's wild.
I think he does stitch things together that he's written, even if it hasn't been published. Fiasco felt like that too.
Okay.
I'm hankering for some sci-fi right now. Haven't read much of it yet, but about to start House of Suns by Alistair Reynolds.
I have not.
I've listened to it twice on long road trips, but I still want to read it because my attention is just not quite that good. But it's a fascinating space opera. Some people say it's his best. I have good memories of listening to it, so that's where I'm at with that right now. Sephiroth enjoyed Hard to Be a God. Diana Rigg is the actress who played Emma Peel, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I can't handle it. I can't. Yeah. It's funny. I can read about it in books. Yay, Jake.
He's probably gone already, but thanks for joining us, Jake.
Yeah.
James Bond on Her Majesty. Diana Rigg, there confirms it as well. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, that's the Bond that was just in the one, right? There's one actor who's only in one Bond movie. I think that's the one. I can't remember what his name was. AI generated.
Midjourney is an AI creating thing. That's why I've heard of it.
Yes.
Yeah, it did a good job, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is cool. Why?
Howl's Moving Castle? Yay or nay? For me, it's yay.
Give me a second.
Definitely. Is it because is Welsh? That I don't know about, but my kids were on a big what's the animator's name?
Miyazaki.
Miyazaki. Very big kick on his I think the very first crossover movie was the one Oh, I'm struggling now.
Just found myself a first edition.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Anyways,
make
I've
my
seen a
daughter
few
read it.
Miyazaki movies.
Yeah,
Enjoyed them.
Miyazaki's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is an ex Libris, but I'm still happy to find it. Just, I mean, the cover's great. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful film. I'm looking forward to reading that. I'm going to read it with my daughter.
Not Peter Weir, Peter Weller. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. A lot of people came in on that. We even got Goblin in on that one.
All right. What's up, Goblin?
Thunder Bay originally. There we go. That's even closer to me.
Oh, it's Nick.
Yeah. Welcome, Nick. Nick's going to feature in my next acquisitions for June. I won't tell you why.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I haven't reviewed a lot of movies. I did talk a little bit about Silent Running from 1972, which was an ecological movie in space.
Jason covered that one as well. Yeah, my brother used to be part of my channel, and he did movies mainly. And I'm not as good as movies, but I'm kind of getting back into it. Virgil and Brian and I have a little secret society, and we just recently covered a horror movie called Pin. You can find that on Virgil's channel. But I'm going to start. I'm not going to really on books, but I'm going to do movies every once in a while, I think. Yeah.
If you haven't seen their Red Society, or what's it called again?
Secret Society of Reed or Red. No, Secret Society Red. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know the name of it.
Their evil alter egos are on there.
That's right. That's right.
Paul
Verhoeven.
Verhoeven.
That's who.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the director.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a couple.
Wow.
That is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That is. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Fantasy Goblin. Okay.
Yeah. You might like Nightwalk. Nightwalk it's not a fantasy adventure, but it is an adventure. I mean, it reads to me like an adventure, but it's a sci-fantasy, I think.
So the Guy Gaxanor, is that referring to
I assume
Gygax?
Gygax, yeah.
Yeah. From Dungeons and Dragons fame.
Yeah.
I've read some of the books that are from the Appendix N, which was his influences in.
Yeah, Tim is the king of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Helping us in just remembering the TV show
yes,
that we were talking about, the Avengers. Yeah, Moorcock is alive, and Silverberg. Yeah.
And didn't he just come out with something new?
Well, I know Moorcock is coming out with something called Arcady or something like that. Yeah. I'm not sure about Silverberg though. Yeah, Shaw has passed away.
Oh, thank you for joining us, Walter.
Yep, thank you. Oh,
yeah,
good.
It's his first ever, and
yeah, I think so.
It's his first novel, and it was a great time.
It's a good first novel.
Even Frazetta did the cover. I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah. He always has awesome concepts and then takes you into some plot turns that are unexpected.
Yep.
And I really appreciate that about his stories. It's just a lot of fun to read.
Yes. So luckily I have them all. I do not. I have a couple of first editions, but yeah, that's speaking of white whales. Yeah, those are very expensive. But I got them all in paperback, so I have copies of them. But yeah, they're wonderful. They really are. That's Andrew Lang did all those, and he was huge in the fairy tale and folktale world of the early 1890s or late 1800s and early 1900s.
I'm just going to say a word here. This is a test live feed, but I mean, we're still at 33 people here, an hour and 24 into it. Obviously, we like to talk, SF.
Yes.
This is great.
Yeah. No, I've gone almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone longer than that, if you remember.
Oh, yeah. 7 hours is our limit.
That was filming multiple episodes, but that was a long one.
It was. That's interesting.
Yeah, I shouldn't have skipped over this, but yes, top 3
Yeah.
I could see that there.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Figure out
You can work out and figure out.
Yes. Yeah, when I first watched it, I was just a kid and I was like, scary. But yeah, we'll see.
Hot topic. I like hard to figure out endings. We talked about ambiguity.
Yeah.
Oh, that you never have an answer. My brain cries. Total Recall.
Yeah.
Blade Runner, Deckard question.
Which I don't feel like the Deckard question is that big in the book.
No.
I feel like it's big in the movie, but I think it was stated pretty obviously to me in the book that he is not. But if you like a ending that's vague that you have to figure out, or ambiguity, this is the one. It's so good. It's and you can figure it out. It's not like the one that's never answered. You can figure it out.
I would say Christopher Priest has some of those type of endings where you have to figure it out, but he's giving you the information I think that you need. It's not too ambiguous. It's just a little bit of you have to be an attentive reader.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the one-off bond, George Lazenby. You can tell how far back we are when we see these comments.
Yep.
Miyazaki's
great. How's moving?
Miyazaki.
Yes. Yeah, that's the
there
one.
You go. That's
Diana Wynne Jones.
Hey, we're starting to catch up here.
Yeah.
Silent Running is great. Joan Baez. That's the music from that one.
Oh, nice. I love Silent Running.
And saying across the board here, hi, Nick. And
nice.
His wife has those books.
Yep, they're wonderful.
And he'll be back for sure. Great. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
what's up, Cody?
I don't think I know Cody. I know the symbol and a top. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's watched your videos in comment.
Yeah.
He's
awesome. His name is Cody. Okay.
Yeah. He also makes music that is incredible.
He makes music, you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There seems to be a strong opinion here.
I agree with Tim.
Yeah. That's one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest soliloquies in film, I think, in science fiction, isn't it? The tears soliloquy of Deckard.
Oh my God. And a lot of people think he made it up as he went, but he didn't. Rutger Hauer wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
And then he practiced it, so it wasn't made up on the spot, but that Rutger Hauer himself wrote that soliloquy, and it's incredible. I didn't know that. It's the best part of the movie, hands down. I mean, and it's a movie that I'm not a huge fan of. My brother Jason was, so the channel loves it. To him, it was the greatest science fiction movie of all time. To me, it was okay, and I like the book better. And you're right, that soliloquy is absolutely incredible. Also, I really liked the one that came out recently, 2049 or whatever it was called. I did see that one. I can't say that I remember a lot about it, but I did enjoy it. The music was incredible too. Yeah. Hey, we're almost caught up here. All right. See, and isn't that what ambiguous is great for, though? Because 43 years later, we're still talking about it. That's right. There we go. PKD is like a god to me. Almost. Smart. That almost is smart. One of the videos that I have that got well reviewed is myself and my buddies Ira and Matt. We go through the best of Ballantine Classic Library. And so the best of PKD is one of the ones we went through. And we invited Stephen of Outlaw Bookseller fame to join us. And we had a good long conversation about Philip K. Dick's stories. Really and that was a great episode. And I guess I'll say that myself because it was my guest that made it great. It was great. It's still available on my channel if you want to watch that and see about his short stories. Yeah. I have to say, I haven't read a lot of novels by him. In fact, I'm way back, like in the 50s or 60s, some like early 60s novels of his. But his short stories, there's some spectacular ones in there. Yeah, my favorite of all time. I can't find my copy of Do Androids Dream? Oh, there it is. Yeah. And it's weird because Time Out of Joint might have pushed this a little bit. But yeah, I love the Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch is in my opinion the greatest Philip K. Dick novel that I've read so far.
And isn't there a short story that
Yeah,
predates it? I think I've read the short story.
yeah, and I bought the magazine that had the short story of his first publication. It was The Days of Perky Pat.
Yes, I remember it.
And
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun to read that story first and then read this. This is the best Dick in my opinion. Followed by this, which could easily be right there with it.
Yeah.
And then I think I like Time Out of Joint, which I don't have a kick-ass early copy of, just a slight bit better than Ubik, which is crazy because and I talked about this in my video recently. I think Ubik is Time Out of Joint in reverse. The time goes the opposite direction, and if you read them both, you'll get that. But yeah, I think, and those are the only Philip K. Dicks I've read. I made Jason. Willingly he did this, but he was reading through Paycheck. Oh, this is the other Nightwalk. I have two covers of Nightwalk because they're both incredible, and I just don't want to get rid of them.
I do like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jason was reading Paycheck. So if you want to see stuff about early Philip K. Dick stories, we also have like a million videos on our channel that are just Jason reading the one story at a time and talking about them.
Yeah.
Dick's
He's
great.
another one of those authors that we started talking about at the beginning of this live feed about books that go beyond the genre, are known beyond the genre.
Yes.
Philip K. Dick is definitely an author known beyond the genre.
Absolutely.
And
all because of that movie.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Tim's starting arguments.
2001. I'm sorry.
2001 is your favorite, do you think,
yes.
of all time?
Oh. Yes, and it's
here, I'll just put this on hide it for a second.
I like weird stuff. We all know that. And that one's definitely weird, but also it's so hard when nostalgia is involved to see if what it is you really love about something. But yeah, 2001, my father sat down with me and watched and talked about the philosophy of it. And that was, I mean, that was before Star Trek, before we watched The Next Generation together. That was like the first time. I remember buying him a copy of 2001 for his birthday, the book. And like, there's so much nostalgia for me. And just the way that movie made space so beautiful and so incredible. I just don't think any other movie topped it for me.
And some modern viewers really have a hard time because it's very slow moving at times. It luxuriates in these views of space.
Just that,
and with the music and
that ship matching the docking and turning. And I mean, it was at a time when people were obsessed with NASA, were obsessed with us getting to the moon. Did that come out before or after the moon landing? Before, yeah. And so people like wanted to see long, incredible, like we wanted to revel in the awesomeness of the terrifyingness of space. It's the Jaws of science fiction. It's incredible. It makes you afraid of space, but also it's incredibly beautiful. Yeah, I love that movie. I do.
And talk about a few ambiguous parts in the last couple of scenes.
Yeah,
as we go through there.
Yeah,
although I think the very, very last scene is pretty self-explanatory. If you want more on 2001, actually read the novel because he does explain it more within the novel itself.
Yep.
Did you know that the novel has a different planet that they go to than in the movie? Yeah.
Yes.
For those viewing, they found Saturn too hard to film, so they set it at Jupiter in the film itself.
Yep. But I think they changed it in the later movies back to Saturn, or did they stick with Jupiter?
For 2010?
Yeah.
By the way, I remember 2010 as a pretty good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's not freaking Stanley Kubrick, but it's good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I want to see that again.
Yeah. No, it's good. I watched it a couple weeks back.
I thought we had this quote here now.
Yep.
From Rutger. What was Rutger Hauer's player or character again?
Tim. I don't remember.
like in the movie Blade Runner.
Yeah, I don't remember what his name
Okay,
was.
because Decker was Harrison
Decker was
Ford.
the main character,
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Anyway, somebody will probably answer that right now.
Yeah.
But there's some of that beautiful dialogue.
I feel like it starts with R. I can't remember.
Yeah, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
All those moments would be lost in time like tears in the rain. Time to die.
It's such a good idea because the concept of perception and how important. I mean, you could say that about humans. Every human that we lose all those experiences. It's incredible. Really well written.
Yeah, I've had people remember people telling me, and I still think about sometimes, that it only takes about 4 or 5 generations before you're forgotten in history.
Yeah.
And so we're those moments, those shining tears of time. Anyway, let's not get too deep. I like the book better too. I really love 2049. It felt much more like the book Electric Sheep, thanks to Ryan Reynolds' performance.
I'm not good with actors. Ubik, says Ryan. I agree, Ryan. Ubik. We all do
that. Yeah. Got to be careful how we read that.
Yeah.
Yes. 3 Stigmata or Valis for me.
I haven't read Valis yet, but the 3 Stigmata. A lot of people. I don't want to mess with Brian. He's a black belt. Ubik is incredible.
I like, you know what? I love saying that about a lot of authors, even authors that I don't enjoy, but I am glad they're on the menu. I agree.
Yeah.
Like I would say that about Malzberg. I haven't enjoyed Malzberg so far, but I am glad he's there.
I got to find the book that's for me. And Silverberg's the same way. I've got to, those two, like people are like swearing by them, and I haven't found it yet.
Yeah.
I need to find the book that's for me. Have you read Man in the High Castle? Not yet.
I haven't. I've been saving that one.
Me too. Oh, God.
I don't know if I know that one.
Oh, no, this isn't it. Divine Invasion is, I think, part of the Valis trilogy, isn't it?
Ah.
I don't know if it is.
Actually, I think I remember seeing that cover on your channel.
And I believe that this isn't, no, maybe this is Valis. Yeah, there's one book that this is an earlier manuscript of it. And I don't know if it's Divine Invasion. But yeah.
I'd like to use some of his short stories to create his novels as well.
Yeah.
And even some of his novels he expanded because they were in some of these Ace doubles.
Right.
And there were shortened forms that he expanded later again too.
Yeah, the doubles were big for him. This is the big jump on one side by Lee Brackett, and then on the other side is Dick's first.
Yeah.
Solar Lottery. That was the first time he was published, I believe.
2 famous books really in run there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because The Big Time is arguably Leiber's most known book.
Beckett. No.
Isn't it Leiber?
Lee Brackett.
Oh, The Big Jump. Sorry. I was thinking, what's his called? The Big something.
That's a scary face. I'd never noticed that. I see it through the
yeah.
That's cool.
We talked about Days of Perky Pat.
Yeah.
God knows it. Memories, he says.
Yep.
Great stuff.
Yeah, Ubik's like third for me. Yeah.
Oops, I'm trying to get the next one here. Solar Lottery is hugely underrated. That's the one you were just showing.
That's the one I was just showing. That's his first novel.
What year was that? Like 35 cents. That's got to be early 50s.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know right off the top of my head the exact year, but yeah.
I know by the prices on some of these Ace doubles approximately when they are.
Yeah, I haven't read this yet, but it's something about every year they do a lottery and one person becomes the ruler of the world or the president, and the other person becomes his assassin. And I think they like watch it on TV as he tries to assassinate or something. It sounds awesome. It really does.
That sounds like PKD.
Yeah, that was his first novel outing. Of course,
I love the concept. Hey,
thank you, Rick. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to have passed you on.
Yeah. Yep. Rook. It's called Rook.
Woof. Yeah. Roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roof.
No,
Rook,
rook is
roof.
what he calls the people that collecting the
Yes.
food. He thinks they're taking his food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, great short story.
Yeah. Very. It's almost sort of an experimental one where you have to really sort of pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sounds
which
strange.
I think I like a
Mhm.
lot of the books that I bring up on my channel. It's like stick with it. It's weird. You'll get there.
Yeah. Dagan remembers that. Studios. I'm wondering if Dagan is an artist of some sort.
Dagon
Or
is
Dagon.
an H.P. Lovecraft reference.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's some kind of elder god or
Hmm.
yeah. Is it correct to say that Man High Castle is the subgenre of alternate history? But if a character from our world visited that world, it would become parallel universe. Yeah, yeah. I know that the witty part of the Man in High Castle is that in that world, the Germans and the Japanese won World War II, but there is a book in that world that is written about our world about them not winning. So we become the alternate history in Philip PKD's book.
That's about all I know too, except for the dividing of America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look forward to it eventually. Primer.
Oh,
I've heard of
think
it,
I
but I
did.
haven't watched it.
I think I have seen it. I think my brother and I watched it, and that's about all I'm going to be able to give you. I'm sorry.
Sephiroth thinks it's a confusing movie.
Sentinel is,
Sentinel,
of course, the
short story.
that
Yeah.
got Kubrick to choose Clark to work on 2001 with him, and I have a cool copy of it somewhere, the short story book, but I can't find it.
So do you know if it was first Arthur C. Clarke and he agreed to work together, or first he read the story? Because I think
he read the story.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
I thought he kind of looked through Clark's work after he had kind of agreed to work with Clark, but I could be very wrong on that.
Huh, I don't. Yeah, well, I'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Sentinel is basically the moon story in terms of a message being sent out.
It is classic, incredible golden age science fiction.
Yeah.
I mean, just you can see where, in my opinion, I can see where 2001 came from by reading that story, just because of the awe of space. Like the entire thing hinges on, holy shit, we found a thing on the moon.
You know,
there's
a lot of people who don't necessarily like the prose of Clark, but the awe inspiring ideas and paradigm shifts that I find in his work make him somebody that I really enjoy. Especially, I mean, I think of Childhood's End.
Yeah,
that's a sort of a seminal science fiction work for me,
with a crazy twist.
And it's got twice paradigm shifts in there. Yeah, beautiful book.
Yeah, that one you can't really talk about without giving spoilers.
Nope. That's a difficult one to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you know Tarkovsky?
Is that the one that did the Roadside Picnic?
Perhaps.
No, that's Stragatsky. No, that's his.
Well, that's the author.
No, yeah, the author, the Stragatsky brothers, who did the Roadside Picnic movie Stalker. I think it's Tarkovsky. I believe he's talking about shots that Tarkovsky did.
Yeah. So he framed with doors. I'm guessing doors open and they framed a scene and they're coming through the door, perhaps. That's my guess.
Yeah. I'm not as good at movies. Yeah. Jason would be able to say right away.
Well, let's see if I can get this next one. Primer.
Oh.
I always have trouble with pronunciation. I'm constantly learning. There's a Russian novelist who wrote We, whose name is
Russian?
Zagevny Zamayatan is how it's pronounced. I had to look it up online and see if I could figure it out.
I've got a first English edition of that, but I'm not able to put my hands on it right now.
Well,
but
that
I want
would
to
be
read
1924.
Because this book is considered the first dystopian novel, apparently, followed by We. This was 1908.
Well,
yeah,
I just made a video that's going to be a little bit wrong. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about this next week on my channel for Rocket Summer. I'm slightly participating.
Good.
Yeah. I
Roy
like
Batty is the name of the character from that Rutger Hauer played.
people just, it's Roy.
And there's
Thank
another
you.
one.
There it is.
Yeah.
I knew it started with an R.
I love how Tim gives it to us in capitals. I can
That's
just see him
right.
like, "You idiots, it's Roy Batty."
He likes the movie.
2010 was Europa.
No.
So
Oh,
it
yeah.
was still at
Stay away from Europa. Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So Clark changed then in his own writing of the book as well to Jupiter since the movie was in Jupiter.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Rutger Hauer is the name of the actor. Yeah.
And Roy Batty. Yeah. I've been looking for that one. I'd like to find that one.
I have a paperback of it somewhere.
Yeah.
It was
They say
really
it's a great companion piece to loving the movie.
great read. Great read. Planet of the Apes is really good.
I'm more a fan of the novel than the movie. I like the very first movie. But the novel, just like for Christopher Priest, I love his the magicians. How come it's
Prestige.
yeah, I
Prestige.
love the Prestige novel even more than the movie, even though the movie's great. I'd say the same for Planet of the Apes as well. I love the novel more than the movie, even though the movie is good too.
Yeah.
Now I don't know of it as a novella though.
I think
His life is fascinating.
that
I don't know much
novel,
about his life. Oh, Bridge Over River Kwai also is one of his books.
I think the novel's thin, so
Yeah.
So he's probably just talking about that's Boole, right? Or
Yeah, Pierre Boulle.
death sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah.
But
It's true. It's really true. Don't know that.
oh, it's a novel by Arthur Conan Doyle. It's science fiction type of novel, and he's an
Ooh.
adventurer or explorer, and he's a ongoing character, I believe, in stories.
Oh, nice.
I haven't read him though. I've read just The Lost World,
Yeah.
and of course, the Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Yeah, I read Captain of the Pole Star.
Yeah.
Scary story.
Yeah.
Beyond Apollo. Do I have that one? I have a lot of these because I just grabbed everything I could find.
Well, there's a lot of science fiction that was optimistic, and in the new wave and some of the new writers in the late 60s, early 70s, we saw a more pessimistic side to some of these things. That's a big, broad generalization, but sort of a realistic look at what it could actually be, how stark and
right
and scary and dangerous it is. Thinking of just a little bit of metal between you and a vacuum out there. I mean, it's
right.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Yes. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Bigfoot is not real. Uh-oh.
Boys grow giant mushrooms.
Not sure of that reference. Depends, I guess, where your post office is.
I don't. That is the Dick novel that the premise excites me the least. It's just true.
And yet, it's probably the one that is taught most in higher education places too, right?
And after Androids, it's the one that's talked about the most. I will read it eventually, and I will keep an open mind.
Yeah.
But to me, the premise is the least. I like it real weird, and that seems kind of weird, but not as weird as usual.
That's one of the things I've learned in the last couple of years here is that I come into some things with preconceived notions, and I need to try to leave as much as I can at the door.
Roger Zelazny.
Yeah, and just try to maybe understand the time period that something is written, but otherwise just let that author speak to me.
Murakami said Hard-Boiled Wonderland and The End of the World was inspired by a Roger Zelazny novel, and like I see Roger Zelazny everywhere, and I was like, this fantasy writer. And I read his first novel that was the one that Murakami said inspired him, and it was incredible. Like some of the best new wave science fiction I've ever read. It was so good. And unfortunately, I'm reading all of Zelazny's along, and he hasn't topped that for me yet. I know everybody loves Lord of Light and Amber, and I haven't gotten to Amber, so Amber could top it, but Lord of Light did not top that first novel for me. It really didn't.
He's actually potentially in that conversation of somebody who could transcend the genre into a more public attention as well.
Yeah. 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 But I definitely did him wrong with bias. Yeah.
Dog barking at the trash collectors may have inspired Stevenson's dog in Snow Crash.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I read Snow Crash just recently, and I'm waiting for Ira to finish it. We're going to be doing it on his channel. It's one of his masterpieces of Easton Press, something like
Oh,
that.
nice. Yeah. While we're talking about Ira, he's going to be our next guest on Literally Liminal.
Good.
Next
Awesome.
Tuesday, July 1st. So
his channel is SF Words of Wonder, if someone's looking it up.
Yeah. Are you talking about Shirley Jackson? No, Solar Lottery. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
Awesome. Also found it a hard one to read, even though he's a very big PKD fan. Apparently.
Yeah.
There we go. I think you had mentioned that too. That was H.P. Lovecraft, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what he's responding to is.
Yeah.
Talking with Bob from Will of Genre yesterday. He's Grania Davis, writer and wife, then ex-wife of Avram Davidson, was nearly killed by. Holy shit! Virgil, where do you get this stuff? I guess from Bob. Will of Genre, by the way, is one of my favorite channels. You should go check them out as well. They're incredible.
Yeah, it's a couple of guys, right? They chat with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird because they made a choice that is super fun, and that is that they would change genres. So they'll be doing horror, and then they'll do spy detective novels. But unfortunately, the algorithm hates that. YouTube wants you to stay in your niche. So yeah, the only way that they'll ever get anywhere is word of mouth. So if you haven't checked out Will of Genre, right now they're reading every story in the anthology The Weird, which was edited by Jeff and Ann Vandermeer, and it's all the great weird classics. And every video is incredible. They just did The Willows by Algernon Blackwood, I think. That's who did The Willows, right? I'm reading it now too. So you can expect that coming up on my channel as well. But yeah, go check out Will of Genre. Absolutely incredible.
I don't know Bukowski's post office.
Bukowski's an interesting writer. I think every literature major goes through a Bukowski and an Emily Dickinson phase, and they're very opposite. Yeah, Rendezvous with Rama.
You know, this is where you and I are going to have to have a disagreement, I think. I've read it at the time back in the 70s, and I found it very interesting at that time. I reread it, and I found it slightly boring.
That's the problem. You have to with Clark. I bet the first time you read it, you were in awe of this massive thing they found out in space, and that was enough to sustain you. That's the same problem with 2001, right? You have to remember that awe, or it goes away. I hope. What's his name? Villa, whatever.
Denis Villeneuve is going to make a film of it. Yeah,
I hope he does, because I think it'll kick ass. I hope it'll bring back. I hope he'll be able to translate it to a modern audience and give the awe that the first read of this book can give you.
Now, I've refused to read any of the sequels, and so I don't know if that would have changed my mind or not. I've heard negative things about it.
Me too. Yeah. And I think they're right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Both wonderful.
Lem and Strugatsky. Wow, he picked some good authors from the East there.
Yeah. Yes. Goblin. It blew my mind. I read it yesterday and it blew my mind. Like, and this copy sucks. It's a print on demand, but it is in the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, Volume 2B. Or if you have the whole thing together, which I don't know if they printed them that way, but yeah, this I'm going to be making a video about this probably tomorrow. Not to go up tomorrow, but I'm going to record it tomorrow. And it is prophetic. Is that the word? Like like he really this is Wall-E in 1908. This is the internet in 1908. It's incredible.
I'm intending to go through that Science Fiction Hall of Fame novellas someday. I mean, there's 2 volumes of it, the way they do it. I'm just not sure how I want to do that because I'm not sure if I want to take, 2 or 3 months of my channel's time going through there.
No, yeah.
I'll have to figure that out.
Just dip in every once in a while.
I think so.
Primer?
He said primer, right?
So, that's right. But I can confirm that Back to the Future definitely has 3 timelines and no canonicals. You said that in the last video too. I can't fight you because I don't really care about Back to the Future. I know that's so terrible to say, but it was.
You can't fight the police.
It was a fun movie.
Police.
It was a fun movie. I know.
Planet of the Apes. I would say read that novel.
Yeah. Peter Boule. How do you say his last name?
Pierre Boule is how I would say it. Boule.
Yeah.
Or is it double L?
Good time.
Anyway, it's not a hard read and it's a good read.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that it's high classical literature or anything like that. It's just a good, solid, great read.
There's Dagon. Do you guys know the movie Sunshine? I've seen Sunshine. It's one of the only movies I've ever seen that kind of captures that terror of the abyss of space that 2001 does. The third act isn't great. That's the problem I had with it as well, but it's super underrated. My really, really good friend Bo absolutely loves that movie. I remember seeing it, but is that the one where, it's been a long time for me.
I have not read it, and I've heard things that make me not want to read it.
Yeah, it's strange. To me, that sounds like a book that you laugh at because it's and I know he took it seriously, but the concept makes you giggle, right? Like Hitler in a bike gang because World War II didn't happen because it's an alternate history where Hitler, I don't remember, goes to art school, I think. And
was it even like writing science fiction, perhaps?
Yeah, it's like the Paperbacks from Hell book of the Little People. There's a book called The Little People that has a bunch of leprechauns on the front cover with Nazi uniforms on.
I remember that picture.
Yeah, and everybody was like, the internet loved it. Prices skyrocketed, but it did because it was campy. Mm-hmm. And I read a Norman Spinrad short story that I absolutely love. I talked about it on the channel, but when I hear the premises of his novels, I'm always a little turned off because it seems so tongue-in-cheek, so sarcastic, that to me, and this is just my interpretation, it doesn't sound like something that I would enjoy. It just seems almost campy.
I won't say never, but there's a whole lot of other books ahead of it for me.
Yeah.
Satire too much. I have trouble with satire in science fiction. I'm not a big fan of it.
Me too. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Good job.
These are all your viewers, I think, Richard.
This is great. Well, I'm happy that they're finding you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool, Cody. Oh, no. Okay. Jumping off now. See you later, Tim.
Always good to have a stack of comics.
Read Amber, Chris. I will. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
I think I'm going to be joining him on reading that. I read the first one and I haven't read the rest, and it might be the impetus I need to have it read one a month.
Oh, interesting. So Creatures of Light and Darkness is my next Zelazny read.
Yeah.
And I've been doing some like I'm going to read Damnation Alley, but I'm going to read the novella because apparently Roger Zelazny himself hates the novelization of that book, that he didn't want to make it longer. So I'm going to read a couple of novellas first, but yeah, Creatures of Light and Darkness, I'm heading to. It seemed like he got into this thing where he was constantly retelling myths in science fiction. And I got a little tired of it after this Immortal and Lord of Light, but I'm going to come back to it. I think this is the Egyptian one, Creatures of Light and Darkness, if I remember correctly.
This is the next one I might read of his. It is a very strange one, A Night in the Lonesome October, and
Yeah,
it's got characters that are from all sorts of
he's doing
20th,
it.
19th, and 20th century. Like there's Sherlock Holmes there and Dracula, and I think it's told by the point of view of this dog here.
I think he was
And there's
inspired
illustrations through
by.
here.
I think he was inspired by Jose Farmer,
Yeah.
because I think this is the first one that I know of that brought in. I mean, not the first book ever, but the science fiction to bring it in. But I don't know which came first.
So it's a supernatural romp, it says. And to me, this is where it's a little bit different. I don't like satire, but I don't mind comedy. And I do think that those are different.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of comedy in it either.
Yeah.
Sorry, I pulled the wrong thing. This is what I meant to pull. Yeah,
Which
comedy like
Zelazny was that, Chris?
which Zelazny was that?
From back, I think you've discussed this last
Oh,
week.
okay, yes. The best Zelazny, in my opinion, so far, and I haven't read Brian's favorite, Creatures of Light and Darkness, is The Dream Master.
Yes.
I think you've read it
I've
too.
read it too. Yep.
Yeah. I do suggest, if you go read this, and I say this in my deep dive, I believe, read really quick Tennyson's poem, The Lady of Shalott.
Yes.
And look
Good
up,
advice.
yeah, look up the Tristan and Isolde story on Wikipedia, and then read this. It's not a lot of homework, but it's a little bit of homework that will make this so much better. And this got me obsessed with the dream machine trope that I've talked so much about on my channel.
And a great follow-up to that one, if you want, is The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. Fits in well with that one.
Yeah, same dream machine trope.
Yeah.
And really a wonderful read. First Le Guin I ever read was Lathe of Heaven.
And if you like PKD, that's her closest. It might almost be an homage to PKD.
Yeah, she stated for the record that it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Henry Miller phase.
Yep.
Okay. And
I think that was in response to talking about English majors always love Bukowski and and Henry Miller.
Right.
Warren Clark, but yeah, the mood Rama.
Okay. Yep.
Ra.
Ma. Yeah. Ah, there you go. You know, I was a little bit disappointed by Bob Shaw's Big Dumb Object one. I've only read the first one, Orbitsville.
Okay.
I thought it was good up to a certain point, and then it just got dull and boring inside the big object.
Right.
And I think that's the same thing that kind of happened to me with Clark too.
What's up, Unstoppable?
Hey,
how are you doing?
Welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read that one.
I think Ira talked about that one and was not a huge fan of it, but he says he wants to give it another go because he loved Babel 17. We read that. Yes. We read that together and just absolutely loved it.
That's where Babel 17 is definitely one I'll try someday because of Ira.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah. That's fine with me. I don't mind that at all.
I agree. I agree.
In a really long time.
And then they had to go up again.
Oh my God. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I don't mind character driven.
And I'm not an action junkie, so I'm sure I'll love it. I mean, everything I've read by Dick has been wonderful. It's weird that I say Ubik is third place for me, and it's one of the coolest. I think I recently read Time Out of Joint, and I called it, if this was the only novel Philip K. Dick ever wrote, it'd be a masterpiece. And so yeah, I don't like when you talk about your not favorite Philip K. Dick book, you're still talking about Philip K. Dick. So yeah, it's yeah, I'm sure I'll love it.
And it's crazy to me that he wasn't as famous as he is now until after the movie Blade Runner, which he passed away before it premiered. And so he never really got to see the success that his work has and how it has lived on.
Well, and he wanted to write literature. Like when he started, he wanted to write literature. And I think He found success with science fiction, but he was constantly trying to break from that genre binding and write literature. And I would have loved it if he could have seen how incredible, how much people that love literature also love his writing. Oh, interesting. I know.
Boy, Avron just kind of went from science fiction author to science fiction author.
Yeah, I know for a while.
He's a German typewriter.
He
He picked it up and smashed it. Well, I can.
I
Strong
think,
opinions from World War II.
yeah, PKD, I think, lived with Heinlein for a little while, and Heinlein helped support him monetarily for a while. Heinlein was incredibly good to PKD. Yeah. He was everybody's. I hate to say it, but he was kind of everybody's drug addict friend for a while there. That they all wanted to take care of. I mean, he was loved in the science fiction community.
And the science fiction community was amazingly tight, even into the 40s and 50s, because I mean, we think of the Futurians as bred so many science fiction authors or editors, and that tight community continued in enclaves. There's kind of New York, Ray Bradbury in Los Angeles writers, and like they definitely got together.
Yeah, the New Wave had groups. There was an English group and an American group, and it's a good read, Constance. I mean, like they said, it's a slow burn. So yeah,
it's a discovery novel.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh, that information that he just gave us came from Bob from the Wheel of Genre. Smart guys, those two.
Mm-hmm.
Primer as primer is British. They attend primary school in Massachusetts. We attend primary school. Yeah, here out in New Mexico, we also.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
He pays too much attention.
Nice.
All right.
I do. I like paying attention. Oh, I think he said that when I was talking about what was he writing a novel or I love the film Bicentennial Man. I haven't seen that.
I have. Robin Williams, and I agree. I agree. It's a good film. I'm not sure if it's the best.
Robin Williams, right?
Robin Williams.
Yeah. I got to give it a watch.
Yeah. It's a bit of a tearjerker.
Oh boy. That's what, Virgil has talked about this a lot because Virgil read it. I think there's a review on his channel, the little weird Nazi leprechaun book. Virgil says none of that. Like the cover is not what you get inside the book. I think it's kind of a slow burn, actually.
I've kept you for over 2 hours here on a test.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Let's see if we can burn through some comments here because there's still 38 people watching us.
Yeah.
Lonesome October is great. That's the Zlazny. Save it for Halloween. Okay. Good idea, actually. Yeah, I like that. Snuff the Dog is the protagonist, I believe. The dog of Jack the Ripper. You can see how that's connecting. And VSF says it's awesome as well. Okay, I will wait for October then for that. It's a breeze to read. Yeah, it's a large print and it has pictures.
I think I have a hardcover of it. I'm not going to try to get it out though.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. The Time Police agree.
Nice.
Thank you, Unstoppable. I appreciate it. I that sounds weird, like it's mine. It's not my novel, but I love when anybody helps me push this novel.
Yeah, and I think I read the shorter version of it. There is some padding. I didn't think it was that bad though, in terms of what the padding
the shorter version is not that bad, but the problem is there is a chapter from the dog's point of view in the novel version that's not in the shorter version that is gold. So I wish I could do my own edit of this. Take out all the Christmas stuff, but leave the dog part in here. So good. So I only
This
read
is
the first
Lonesome
nine.
October again here, I think.
Oh, it must be. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think he was reading the Dream Master. Maybe he was.
Well, his son actually was at one point an author as well. I think he passed away early, unfortunately.
Constance, if it was the novel version that was expanded, Zelazny would like you to thrift it. He preferred the shorter novella version of Damnation Alley. So
Oh,
you're good.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good for me to know too.
Yeah, don't read the long one. Read the short one for Damnation Alley. Oh,
We got some
interesting.
disagreement here.
All right. Yep.
We agree.
Are we catching up?
We're getting there.
Side. Good. Zelazny's worth it.
I'm not sure where they're chatting there. Hey.
What's up, Tau Zero?
Hi there. It was a surprise to Chris as well when I texted him.
It's true. You want to go live later? Larry Niven. It's funny. I made a video. I brought it to my readers and said, would I like Larry Niven? And they said no. So I didn't read it because my readers know me. I mean, my viewers know me. They really do.
I've read Niven and I've read Niven and Purnell. I like Niven and Purnell better than I like Niven. And if you're thinking Niven and Purnell, Jerry Purnell is the other writer, and The Mote in God's Eye is probably their most famous, but they wrote quite a few books together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, find it if you can and read it. It's great. I'm going to be talking about it on the channel.
Not crazy about Shaw's Orbisville as well.
Yeah. Don't know what that
I think that must be referring to someone else's comment, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, the stairs for
the stairs. Yeah.
for Rendezvous with Rama coming into it.
Yep. I forgot about it too. That's I've heard that's really great. Nice. Yes, I read that.
Yep. That's great. I'm happy to hear that.
Yep, me too. I love that story. We'll see you next time.
It's in the middle of the night for him, so thank you for joining us.
Yeah, book cover. I'm gonna remember that now. Yeah, no, he did write his first two books. They wouldn't publish them. Were straight up literature. And but I see what Constance is saying. Yes, he has been recognized, his science fiction as literature, which is such a weird thing to say. But it's like with J.G. Ballard and all those that we've been talking about. There's some deciding committee. I don't know where that is.
You know what? I love Walter M. Miller Jr. I'm sort of surprised that he was labeled as literature.
Yeah.
That he made it there.
Yeah.
There you go. See if he needed a Kleenex or two when he saw it. Clark's characters early on are all British officer types and academics.
Yeah.
One-dimensional. Yeah.
Yep.
City in the Stars. Wow, wow, wow. See, I've read the earlier one. We were talking about The Fall of Night, Fall Against the Night, whatever it was again.
Yeah.
I do want to read the next one, and it'll be an interesting comparison.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like Asimov. Asimov has a ton of talking heads in his books that I'm just like, oh, stop.
Hey, I think we're catching up here.
Yeah, no, we say primary or primer. I wouldn't know anybody that'd say primer.
We don't know any answers
in the
here.
States. Yeah.
What did we have here?
Damn spell check incorrect.
Here we go.
Yep.
I haven't read that one, but I hear it's
Virgil
great
read it on Cody's recommend. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But it sounds right up my alley. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know
do that in his books.
Yeah. He lived very close to where Chris is.
Yeah. Yeah. He lived in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to we went to Page One Books, which is a local bookstore, and we went to the antiquarian section, and there was all these Roger Zelazny books. And my buddy turned to the person and said, did you guys have like a science fiction person die and leave you their collection? And the lady looked at him and said, yeah, Roger Zelazny. It was all the books that were in his personal library. And I've bought a couple of them. I've got a weird Western, I think it's called Wild Woods, that he wrote, Wilderness, that he wrote with a buddy, a Western writer that is signed by Zelazny and this other guy. Him and George R.R. Martin and Jack Williamson, I believe, are the people that we kind of claim. Although, of course, Zelazny moved to New Mexico later in his life. I know he's claimed by somewhere else for his youth.
Yeah. All right. We got one more here, and then we're going to call it, I think. Is really ill. Yeah. Passed away about a month later. I think it was in 1995.
He seemed like a very cool guy, very well read.
I
wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. No way. No way.
Well, you know what, Chris? I think I'm going to cut it off here. I really appreciate you jumping on here with me today so that I could get the experience of a live stream. And
absolutely,
if somebody noticed this afternoon, I had a 1 minute that all of a sudden came on when I made a mistake. So, so it's good that I was trying this out and making sure it all worked.
Yeah,
I appreciate it a lot. And if you haven't gone to Chris's channel, I'm glad a few of you have found it today, and that more of you find it. He's got some great stuff there on Liminal Spaces.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Richard. Yeah, you'll find that lives go on. They're very fun, so they have a tendency to go on. Oh yeah,
gonna look for that one. Yeah.
So you're talking about doing one coming up about Rocket Summer, right?
Yep, on Thursday next week.
Perfect.
And it'll be sometime in the afternoon, my time. Thank
you.
Good.
Hopefully that'll be early enough. I've got I'm in a bowling league, so but that's not till 6 late my time. So hopefully I'll be there.
Yeah.
Oh, Virgil.
Oh, Virgil. Thank you for doing that, Virgil.
Yeah.
We will do another live one sometime soon. And he heard there will be one coming up on Thursday for Rocket Summer. Thank you, Lawrence. All right.
Thanks.
I'm going to say goodbye here because we're right up to before any other comments come up. Thanks again, Chris.
Thanks, Richard.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. It takes a minute.